All right, welcome back to our summer signing series. Mark Thompson, broadcaster for the Reading Royals, along with head coach Larry Courville, back for the announcement of another signing for you. Coach, first of all, welcome back.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, today we're going to announce the young forward Kevin Walrod. You talk about surprises for the Royals last year. There were a number of great run for the Royals last season, particularly as we went down the stretch from January through March. Kevin Walrod was a big part of that. How shocking was the really the role that Kevin Walrod served for the Royals after you picked him up in early January?
Well, he did a great job for us. He filled the role that we needed, and we felt that we lacked. He had some energy. He worked extremely hard. He got in the forecheck, but he also had the ability to score some important goals for us and complement some more skill guys. And the one thing that Kevin probably should have a little more opportunity was killing penalties, but we had certain guys that were very successful. Our penalty kill was, one of the best in the league again this year, and but he's a guy I think that may get more of an opportunity in that situation next year, depending on who we bring back and who we sign on the free agent market. But I liked him a lot. He was, he was great defensively. He worked extremely hard. He created energy. He was a team guy first. He was willing to block shots, take a hit to make a play, and get it on the forecheck. And for him coming, he was released a couple times in the East Coast League, started in the SPHL, and worked his way up. And you don't have as I think the word I'm trying to find is those type of guys are really necessary for your team to be successful. And was let go from a couple of teams. We gave him the opportunity, and he fit in perfectly with our team, and we're excited to have him back.
I couldn't help when watching Kevin Walrod to think that he was a little bit overlooked in the recruiting of last summer. Ended up with, as you note, in the Southern Professional Hockey League with Bloomington. He was signed by Evansville and played 5 games in Evansville and had an assist and played +3 in those games for the Evansville Icemen. I think Evansville might look back at the decision to release him and waive Kevin Walrod as one of those during the season that you wish you could go back and maybe change, because as soon as you picked him up, I mentioned it, but in the final 44 games of the regular season for the Royals, the team actually went 31, 10, and 3. And if you look at the time correlation, it was right when we picked up Kevin Walrod that we went on that amazing run.
No, like I said, we needed some help. I made some phone calls. I actually called a good friend of mine, Brian Gratz, who was coaching him in Bloomington at the time, and we needed to make some changes, and we needed some grit, some guys that would get on the forecheck. And I saw that he did pretty well in Evansville when he played, and put a call on the Jeff Pyle, and he kind of mentioned what type of player he was, and he was also in Fort Wayne's training camp in the ECHL and was let go there. And then called Brian Gratz, and I asked him, what can you tell me about this kid? What type of role would he do for us? And he was perfect, dead on with the kid. He thought he'd be a third-line guy that would create energy, that would work extremely hard, play within the system, that could kill penalties very well. And that's what I needed. That's what I wanted. I wanted somebody that could fit a specific role for our team, and he came in and was a great attribute to our team, a great asset, and we're glad to have him back. He was one of the first guys I talked about returning for this season, and he was, given the circumstance he was in last year, he jumped right on. He said, I'd love to come back, and enjoyed his time here, and we're looking forward to working with him again.
I can't tell you how many times during the broadcast of last season that I'd make mention, if a young player wants to make an ECHL team, you ought to just take video clips of the way Kevin Walrod played and just mimic that to the best of his ability. The thing that stood out to me, you've talked about it, his aggression on the forecheck, the willingness to just, the first 3 strides that he take, just absolute, this acceleration was really, it was impressive. It was the type of thing, it's one thing to go gliding in on the forecheck, but when you go in with that type of aggression, that type of movement, I think it created a lot of problems for defensemen to handle him because he was on top of them so quickly.
Well, definitely. He skates really well. He said he had that ability to get into the forecheck quickly, and that's the worst thing for a defenseman is having that pressure and having time or no time to make a play. So, and that's what we liked about it. We need, I'm a type of coach that loves an aggressive forecheck. My defense are aggressive on the walls, and we want our forwards to get in there and make contact and be on top of them and force teams to make mistakes. And he's one of those guys that can do that for us, is get in there fast, get in there, make a defenseman make a bad decision with the puck, hopefully our second guy is a guy who eventually gets that opportunity to retrieve it and then opportunities to score from there. So we're excited to have him back, and hopefully he brings that same type of energy he brought for us last year.
You know, I know stats are for losers, but it is one thing, and plus minus is a stat that gets all sorts of critical review from the players, from the coaches, from everybody associated with hockey. It does say something, though.
Yes.
Plus 15 in 39 games for Kevin Walrod does say something about his responsibility out on the ice.
Well, he's the type of guy you're not worried to put on the ice and having to defend a lead, or worried about an offensive guy who doesn't want to play defensively. And the game, the goal of the game is to score more goals than the other team. But I think the biggest thing is defending your own zone and working from your D zone out to the offensive zone. If you can't take care of your D zone, you're not going to win that many games. You can have all the goal scorers in the world, but if you can't defend, you're probably going to either win the game 10-9 or lose the game 10-9. And he's the type of guy, like, I'm a big believer on having different roles for players, and he fits in a role that we need as a third line guy, and that creates energy that will kill penalties and hopefully maybe get an opportunity eventually to put numbers up more offensively. But that right now, that's going to be his role. He understands that role. He's willing to play that role, and that's one of the biggest things as a coach is sometimes you got guys that want to play specific roles, and that's not best for the team. And he knows what his role is. He brings that energy, and I'm glad to have him back.
We got to playoffs last year and had some tough decisions to make. Obviously, you get guys back down from the American Hockey League, Stanislav Goliv being one, Dustin Gaisley being another. It pushed Kevin Walrod out of the lineup for the first game in playoffs. And it's one of those things that I know as a coach you just have to really battle with these decisions, because this is a kid that really earned the opportunity to play in playoffs, but you can only dress so many guys. Right. And it was a difficult decision. You did, however, make a change in Game 2. He came out and actually scored a goal and picked up an assist in Game 2, his first pro playoff game for Kevin Walrod. You look back on it, I'm sure you're not second-guessing yourself about those decisions, because Gaisley and Goliv, first of all, are two guys that I don't know how you could keep them out of the lineup. Right. But it's one of those things where you're wishing, can't I dress more players?
Well, you're always thinking that. I've always talked to our league and about dressing four lines, but it's never gone that route. So sometimes you have to make some tough decisions based on your team. And you're right. Again, guys like Stan Galiev and Dustin Gaisley are guys that played most of the year in the American League, and we're impact guys as producers offensively in our league. And when you have guys like that are on AHL and NHL contracts, it's tough to take them out, and you expect them to perform probably better than our team did in the playoffs. But we talk about roles and specific reasons why teams are successful. And in Game 2, we put Walrod back in, and he created a lot of energy that I think we lacked in Game 1. We really came out flat. I think we were a little bit overconfident, and we didn't play very well in Game 1. And he brought some life to our team and the work ethic back to our team that teams need to be successful. So that's why we made that decision. Unfortunately, he got injured there in the last game, but he's a guy that will do anything to help the team, and that's why we brought him back.
You did mention that he got kind of a knee-to-knee hit in Game 5 of the Eastern Conference quarterfinals against the Fort Wayne Comets. It didn't look good when it happened. As a matter of fact, it's one of those that you're looking at and thinking, wow, that's not the way you want to end your season right there. Any effects of that lingering now with Kevin Walrod?
No, he's completely healthy. We flew him in a couple weeks ago, got reevaluated from our doctors. He's back working out and getting ready for this season. So surgery wasn't required. It was more of a rehab situation, and from what I'm told now, he's completely healthy and getting ready for next season.
Head coach Larry Courville announcing the second signing for the Reading Royals this summer. It's Kevin Walrod, youngster, second-year pro out of Michigan State University. Ended up with 24 points in 39 games, played plus 15 for the Royals. Kevin Walrod, the second signing. Sean Wiles, the first for the Royals. Coach, once again, I want to thank you for the coming out and speaking with us on the summer signing series that we're doing this year.
Well, I appreciate you having me.